Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today, we're talking about Ubisoft's major reset button, as some are calling it. And man, it includes 6 canceled games, 7 that are delayed, and we know they already also closed 2 studios and already had some layoffs at Massive Entertainment. And then they're also changing just the foundational structure of their entire company and how they're going to make games. So let's go ahead and dig into it all. So we had, let's see. Okay, so yeah, they're undergoing a major reset. Organizational restructure will start operating in early April. So they're moving the components now to actually get that started and moving like it should in April. So they literally got 3 months. But yeah, they've canceled 6 in-game development games, including one of them being Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake, which they already tried, I think, a remaster. Again, that didn't look very good. The pushback was pretty hard online. And then they started working on a remake. We got announcement of that with Ubisoft's looking forward, I believe, in 2024. Because they didn't even have a forward in 2025. So they didn't have anything to show. And this is why. Because they've been working on getting the mechanisms moving since like the beginning of 2025 to announce it at the beginning of 2026. And yeah, this is going to be a 3-year roadmap, which is going to be pretty wild. So yeah, Sands of Time is canceled. There were also 4 other canceled games that were unannounced, including 3 new IPs and a mobile game. Yves Guillemot highlights a AAA industry that has become persistently more selective and competitive, with rising development costs and greater challenges in creating brands. And honestly, of course it has. I mean, when we're talking about massive amounts of money being dumped into video games that can't really compete, and when smaller or independent studios do a better job and create a more immersive experience, that's really what the players are going for. And the AAA industry isn't really doing that, including Ubisoft. They haven't really changed or adjusted anything. They've just kept the same stuff going for over 10 years, and yeah, people are tired of it. Ubisoft says exceptional AAA content, when successful, has more financial potential than ever before. I agree. There's, again, more players. There's more areas and ways to play video games. But again, your game has to, get through all of the other competition, because when we can have COD, when we can have Battlefield, when we can have Assassin's Creed Shadows, when we can have Ghosts of Yotei, when we can have games like Avowed or Outer Worlds 2 or Forza, and then we have a game like Arc Raiders that just takes over everything. It's pretty hilarious. It's pretty hilarious, guys. Ubisoft says it will also allocate additional development time to 7 more now delayed games. Unannounced initial title planned for 2026 will now be 2027. And also, Jason Schreier reports this lineup includes the rumored Black Flag remake. And there's also going to be portfolio revision, covers a roadmap over the next 3 years. As part of cost-cutting measures, hoping to shave off an additional 200 million euros over the next 2 years. And again, I heard again that it wasn't just next to 3 years, that it's going to be now 2 years. So they're going to accelerate that. Ubisoft also closed 2 studios, which we already covered earlier in a video, Halifax and Ubisoft Stockholm. It will also consolidate its production under 5 creative houses charged with specific genres and franchises. These houses will combine game development and go-to-market functions with a gamer-centric approach. Isn't that the point of making a video game? It's for the player, not the company. I'm glad they're finally figuring that out after 10 plus years. They will also have full financial ownership and account for economic performance. So yeah, if they don't do well, they'll get hit, right? They'll get hit with the layoffs, not the entire company. I'm guessing that's how this will kind of go. So the first one we already know of is Vantage Studios. They'll have Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. House 2 will be a competitive and cooperative shooter experiences, including The Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell. And I hope Splinter Cell is not going to be a PvP multiplayer game. I hope it's a co-op. That would be great. I'd love to see that. I hope, too, we're also getting the remake for the first one, Stealth Refined. Creative House 3 will be live experiences like For Honor, The Crew, Riders Republic, Brawlhalla, and Skull and Bones. which Skull and Bones is awful, in my opinion. It's really, really bad. Creative House 4 is going to focus on immersive fantasy worlds and narrative-driven universes, like Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, so they're still going to make some Prince of Persia games, I guess, and Beyond Good and Evil. So apparently that game is still on the floor, even though that's been like 20 years now. We've been waiting for number 2. It's insane. We did get a anniversary edition for Beyond Good and Evil 1, and it's basically remastered, right? It's not like a remake. It's just a remaster, just redoing some of the textures. Creative House 5 is going to be focus on casual and family-friendly games like Just Dance, Idle Miner, Tycoon, Catch Up, Hungry Shark, Invincible Guardian, The Globe, Uno, and Hasbro games. Additionally, the company says that there were also 4 new IPs currently in development, which are likely delayed now, including March of the Giants. They acquired that from Amazon a bit ago. Quote, it's a radical move relying on a more decentralized creative organization with faster decision-making and best-in-class cross-functional core services supporting and serving each creative house. So again, Ubisoft has always been like, there's a head over the entire structure of every game and every director and everything. Well, now it's going to be broken up into now 5 creative houses, and Ubisoft is still kind of oversee and overlook stuff, but these will be kind of more independent, more centralized. And Yves Guillemot says that Ubisoft is focusing on the 2 also core pillars of their strategy still, which is open world adventures and games as a service native experiences. Additionally, Ubisoft will see accelerated investments behind player-facing generative AI. Great. That's absolutely what we want to hear, right? It's just more AI stuff. So they're going to push more money into that investment, which is already having a hard time showing any real focus anyway, except for the commercial side of the business. Like, commercial companies are just eating that up like crazy. But again, for people like you and me, it's not really that big of a help. It is helping making faster videos, or it is helping start your own business maybe, or giving you some ideas of some things. But again, they're going to focus more on that. And so, yeah, we can probably also think that there's going to be some layoffs and that AI is going to be more implemented as tools and maybe even some content creation in their video games. And it's a $70 AAA premium experience. I mean, I just don't really get that. Continuing on, while the decisions are difficult, they are necessary for us to build a more focused, efficient, and sustainable organization over the long term. So what that's telling me is that it's not sustainable, that they're literally going broke, and that efficient means that, well, they need to fire more people. Isn't that nice? So 6 canceled games, which we don't know what all of them are, but we know that Prince of Persia is one of them, the remake. And then they're also delaying 7 others on top of that, which is wild. Like, I don't know if there's a single game really that's actually going to release, quote, on time. I mean, even their Rainbow Six mobile game was even canceled and indefinitely delayed, and then, well, they brought it back. They used Halifax to help make the game, and, well, they got rid of Halifax, and apparently the game is launching in February of 2026. As a mobile game. But again, we also had Division Resurgence, which who knows. And then the thing, too, of all of the Assassin's Creed games that they wanted to put out through 24 and 2025. And, well, that's all been delayed and shifted now. We know there was an Assassin's Creed Civil War game, which I actually think would have been a really cool piece of history to go through as an Assassin's Creed game. But nope, we're not getting that. They've canceled that. And then also Invictus is a multiplayer game. I'm sure that one's canceled or delayed as well. And then we know Hex has also been delayed too. That we're looking at that being like 2027 now, which is wild. Also, too, the former Assassin's Creed boss Coates Cotier is now reportedly suing Ubisoft for nearly $1 million, alleging his departure was the result of constructive dismissal following an unacceptable demotion. So he feels like he was pushed out and that he shouldn't have been, and that they basically demoted his position, which he was not going to take. He still wanted to continue to work on Assassin's Creed stuff. But again, maybe he just didn't fit into this model that they had. Because Vantage Studios, well, it's more or less, it's being kind of taken over by more Tencent. I mean, it's $1.25 billion of their money that is going into just this particular studio. And then, yeah, there's still 4 other studios, so he still would have had a place, but it's not the place that he wanted. So we'll see how that lawsuit goes. When there's more information, I'll definitely talk about it. But something, too, I wanted to go over was just some of the games that they've had in the past and just haven't done overly well. So even though Watchdog Legions, again, was pretty favorable, it really didn't hit with players. We take a look at Far Cry 6, it was the same thing. We take it Rainbow Six Extraction, which was awful. Oh my word, awful. That one didn't do well. Also, The Crew 2, same thing. Motorfest did a little bit better, but still, and it's still going, but it's not like a banger of a game for them. Assassin's Creed Mirage, well, that was liked by a lot more players, but we found out that this was actually DLC for Black Flag, and then they just made it a full video game. Isn't that nice? And it's still buggy, it's still a mess, it was still frustrating to play, and it still didn't hold true to the spirit of like Assassin's Creed. And the script writing was awful. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, again, it's just kind of it's okay, it's a pretty good game. There's some facets of it that worked really well, but then there's other facets that just didn't really get the sales that they were hoping for. We can also take a look at Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This was a side-scroller game because, again, what we really wanted was an actual Prince of Persia game, the remake, and now we've just found out that they've canceled that. And while people are excited and happy about it, woo! I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's just not the game a lot of people wanted, so it didn't sell well either. Skull and Bones was another one, and this one it cannot get on its feet. They're even delaying continuously more and more of their content and their seasons, and it's just not what we wanted for a pirate game, so I hope that the Black Flag remake is not going anywhere, because it's got to be better than this. It's horrific. There's also X Defiant, which was, again, pretty good, but the monetization was absolutely insane. It was a free-to-play game, but, again, if you're charging, $40 for blue, a blue color, like, what are you going to do, And it was kind of cool to see some of this stuff, and it was fun for what it was, but, again, it just was not sustainable. And, that game's already dead. There's also the Rogue Prince of Persia. Not a freaking single word about this game. It even, in my opinion, looks worse visually than Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, but this is just the level of stuff that we're at for Prince of Persia, and again, it's not what people want. There's also Star Wars Outlaws, which, again, it's freaking Star Wars, guys. I mean, come on, let's get some good games going here. But, again, we didn't really have that either. It had a 10-month delay. It had progression problems at launch. It still had other bugs. And then again, it just wasn't really an interesting game for the story. And so much of it was just kind of slapped and cookie cuttered together without really making anything enticing. Maybe it got better toward the end of the game, but it didn't help either that some of the content was moved into DLC that you had to pay extra for. And it just seemed incredibly greedy for the Ultimate Edition of like $120, which this game was not freaking worth that. That is a joke. They even changed some of the mechanics after a while for Star Wars Outlaws because people were complaining about it, like some of the stealth missions, which didn't really make a lot of sense because you didn't really have a ton of stealth stuff to deal with. Now, some of the space flights were kind of fun and cool. That was kind of neat, but again, this was just not what people were expecting and wanted. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, it's Assassin's Creed with bugs, with other issues, and focused on two protagonist system where you barely got to play Yote, and basically the whole game was really designed for him, combat-wise. And then the Shinobi, well, it was actually more fun to play as her, ultimately. And then the whole controversy, too, with all of that other stuff. Taking a look at what's coming, we have Rainbow Six Mobile, The Division Resurgence, which I'm not even sure if this is still coming, because there was a mobile game that got canceled. Heroes of Might and Magic, that's coming apparently. And also Fates. We also have Hex, Invictus, which is the multiplayer game. Jade, which is a mobile game. Beyond Good and Evil 2, March of the Giants, Morbid Metal, which that might be canceled already. Tom Clancy's Division 3, we know that one is still going. And then apparently also the Splinter Cell IP is being worked on, but we'll see if that's actually a remake or not. But yeah, a lot of canceled games. I mean, they've had a few, and we're going to be adding some more as we kind of figure that stuff out. And the thing that I want to show last is just the stock. I mean, this was today. This was This was painful. Or no, this was a few. What did they freeze trading? No, I don't think they froze trading. Yeah, this is actually today. And this was Wednesday. So again, the stock was kind of stable. And then, oh, the announcement things are going horrible. We're delaying a bunch of stuff. We're canceling other things. There's going to be future layoffs. And yeah, down 39.9% in one day. It already couldn't really afford that. And now I think we are actually at the lowest point ever for Ubisoft stock. Let's go take a look. So $3.40 or 98 cents, and let's go out to the last 6 months. Oh, right here. What was that? That was pretty low. So there was one other point where it was a little bit lower, $2 and but man, this is just again some of the lowest that we've ever had. And yeah, this really is just it's not good, guys. It's not good. And this one right here, I believe let's see, that was 18. I think that was Odyssey. And then I think let's see, it's somewhere in here as well. Yeah, right here would have been Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That made $1 billion for them, but it has just been absolutely downhill ever since, and now we're under $4. It's just really bad, guys. And two, when we take a look at their profit margins as an entire fiscal year, every year has struggled to just even be above 5% profit. I mean, they're just hemorrhaging money, and this is what people have been saying: is that Ubisoft is not in a good place. Their games are not selling like they want us to believe they are, like Avatar's Frontiers of Pandora, like Star Wars Outlaws, like Assassin's Creed Shadows or Mirage, because again, that maybe some of these games are, making enough money to support themselves, but not enough to support the failures, and that's the problem. Is yeah, they are just absolutely hemorrhaging money. And that's why they needed several, or at least so far that I know of, two cash injections from Tencent, the latest one being to make Vantage Studios. So that one's going to have to be the powerhouse, I think. Because if that one doesn't make enough money and people don't like the games coming out of Vantage Studios, I don't think Ubisoft can stay alive, really. It's going to be a brutal time. So, with that, folks, thanks for tuning in. You can always follow me also at Gaming Garbage 22 over at YouTube. If I've earned it, go ahead and like the video, get the video into the algorithms for me, and then also comment, like, sub, all that jazz, and hype. And then, too, if you know of somebody, please share the video. That helps me, too. You can also follow me over at Twitch if you'd like, and I stream when I can. I don't have a regular schedule, but we're currently going through Dead Space, which you guys voted for the franchise. And we'll go through Dead Space 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the remake. But yeah, this is just a mess, guys. So with that, we'll see you guys on the next one.